Hello. Let me know you all can hear me well as you're tuning in, joining in, and everything. Because I do not have my AirPods. So I forgot my AirPods in my office. So, excuse that curve turn. On my way to a breakfast luncheon. So let me know you all coming in. Give me the thumbs up. Show some digital love if you can hear this. And if the reception is good. Because I know in some areas I go, my phone is, while I'm driving, the connection comes in and out. So I'm trying to speak fast before I hit those spots in those areas. Right? But I really want to do a video on my focus going into 2020 on, do you have 2020 vision, right? Do you have 2020 vision? What's 2020 vision? 2020 vision is when a person can see standing 20 feet away, can see an item, or when they give you a vision testing, a letter from 20 feet away that the average individual cannot see, right? So do you have 2020 vision? Do you have 2020 vision to double up, 2020, double up your credit and your cash flow? So that's real. I'm trying to get my hair together because it looks thin to what it actually was. It was really doing good this morning. Okay. But that's what I really want to talk on. But I woke up this morning and, I'm really didn't even want to dedicate this week to talk about Christians and the Bible and church and the many finances. But hey, this was I feel like God is instructing me to do. So, hey, thank you for the digital love. And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't like talking about this topic because I do not like the religious people, that'll take one poor person mentioned in the Bible. One poor person. One poor person. Lazarus. And the widow woman in the New Testament. I'm trying to think of them. The widow woman who gave out of her poverty in the New Testament. Right? And they look over the many rich and wealthy patriarchs of the Bible, like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, even Job, the women in the Bible, Lydia, the married couple, Aquila, Priscilla, the Proverbs 31st woman, the Apostle Paul, who owned his own tent business, right, and just told people, I don't need your gifts and offering, but I'll accept this just so it can be abound to your account, just so you can be profitable from your giving, because the law of prosperity in the Bible is you have to give to receive. That's the keys to the kingdom. That's the law of reciprocity. So getting into Romans 13 and 8, one of the most, besides Malachi 3, which Malachi 3 was for the Levites to tithe to the priests. It was for the Levites. But Romans 13 and 8, and I don't know how my internet connection is going. It's not giving me a sign or a signal. My hair just looks so, really doesn't look like that. I guess the sun is shining. It looks better than what it does on camera. But Romans 13 and 8 quotes, and if you need to read the entire chapter, it says, owe no man nothing but to love him. This entire chapter is talking about if you owe taxes, right? We know God told his followers, his disciples, that you render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. That's why when people talk about this natural citizen where you can get out of paying the government taxes. Taxes are started in the Bible. How you can be a natural citizen to avoid paying taxes. Taxes been around since the Bible, right? So I don't think it's going anywhere. And he said, look, you render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and you give to God what belongs to God. So Romans 13:8, the whole context of that chapter is talking about what you owe a person. You give it, you render unto them. If you owe me respect and love, you acknowledge that you honor that. You won't believe how many people in the church contribute that they never get reference to them for their contributions to whatever they give the church. So Romans 13:8 it says, if you owe your tax collectors, then you pay the tax collectors. You owe people, as you say, if you owe people love and respect, you give them the love and respect that they are due. Read the entire chapter, people. And for years, I've heard it preached wrong. It is not talking about it's a sin to get in debt. It said if you got in debt, you pay your bills like you're supposed to, as you agreed. If you got a MasterCard, Visa card, then you pay MasterCard and Visa. You pay Discover. You pay Amex. And, I'm not even against, okay, I can't make these payments, and now I have to file bankruptcy. Long as your bankruptcy is discharged and you paid that bankruptcy as agreed. Some people tell you it's a sin to file bankruptcy. Listen, if that's the way that you can pay your creditors as you agreed, that's the system put in place, then you abide by the system that they have for you. The Bible talks about the year of Jubilee anyway. If it was a sin to get in debt, why would the Bible reference the year of Jubilee where people's debts were forgiven after 7 years? Why would the Bible even reference that? So bankruptcy reports on your credit report, if it's a chapter 13 for 7 years. After that, it doesn't report. If it's a chapter 7, it's 10 years. So you pay these creditors as agreed. I look at credit reports all the time, and people have charge-offs, and they don't even have a plan in place to pay these balances and the bills that they've ran up. They're not even looking to file bankruptcy. They're just, hey, get it off my credit report. And I guess they don't understand the creditor still can come after them in court for those charge-offs, right? Even if it's not on your credit report. And the same thing works with student loans. And so that whole scripture is saying whatever you owe someone, whether it's love, whether it's your taxes, you pay them. Now, let's look at Luke 16, verse 8. Luke 16, verse 8, and then I'm signing off. Because I don't know how good my reception is. But Luke 16 verse 8, you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve God and mammon. You're going to love one and hate the other. You're going to abominish one and despise the other. Let's get an understanding of that scripture. First of all, it was talking about an unjust ruler who was not managing. He was supposed to be a manager of his owner's estate. So he was managing this rich and wealthy man's estate. Let's just say he was a manager of a big CEO company. And he's responsible. Let's say he's a debt collector. And he's responsible for collecting the debts that people owe this rich and wealthy man, right? And so he went to people. The manager told him, look, you're not performing your job correctly. You're not collecting my debts in my account. And so you're fired. So the man said, well, what can I do? I can't dig ditches, right? I think I have a low network connection. So I hope, okay, so now it's back on. So he said, I can't dig ditches, right? What, this is all I know how to do. So what he did was he went to the people that owed his master money in very deceitful way and said, you owe my master $800. I think it was 800. I may get the numbers screwed up, but go back and read Luke 16. And he said, yeah. And he said, well, write this amount. So he told him to write on the bill the lesser amount. He did that twice. Dishonest action. And he said, so now that I'm out of a job, they will hire me to work for them. They will welcome me into their household because I know I need a job, right? And so, okay, I just got a text. And so he said, so I'm going to, let them dishonestly get out of paying the full amount, and then they'll welcome and hire me. So the master looked at this and he said, you know what? I'm not commending him on his dishonesty, but I am commending him that he knows how to work with the world to continue to get income, because he knows he's going to be fired and he needs a job. And the people of the light, which means Christians, they don't even know how to work with the world. And I'm not saying, and neither does the scripture say work in a dishonest way. But he said Christians don't even know how to communicate, negotiate, and network with the world to understand how money works. He said, but this man does. And he said, you know what? The people of the light need to start understanding how networking and how money works. Because if they cannot be trusted over material wealth or the wealth of the world or property, and they can't manage it, then why would I trust them to manage my true wealth? In other words, why would I open up the windows of heaven to pour you out a flood, blessing? And I made a post yesterday on my Facebook that Christians are praying for money miracles. They need to be praying for money management. Because in Genesis, in verse 2, when God was when God was creating the heavens and the earth, he said, you know what? I won't open up the heavens for the rain because I don't have any man to work and tilt the ground. God is not going to bless you beyond what you can handle and manage. And then I'm going to say this, and I'm logging out. Right? You need to pay attention in the Bible when the word money is used and when the word gold and silver is used, first of all. Because biblically, when the word money is used, it's talking about this type of currency. This is what the world calls money. But constitutional and in the Bible, gold and silver is one form of money. There's other forms of exchange in the Bible too, like agriculture in the Old Testament. And so when you have scriptures like Luke 16 that says, you can't serve God and mammon, that's referred to or translated into this type of money. He said, you can't serve God and me. How can you serve this type of money? Well, if you have bad credit and you get a car, for example, finance, and you're paying 18% interest rate, and you go to church slobbing and crying that you can't give God 10%, which in the New Testament, it doesn't even give you a quota. It doesn't even say a percentage. It just say give, right? Give. And whatever measure you give, the same measure is going to be used back to you. So if you want to give less than 10%, if you want to spend $200 on your hair, $200 on a purse, and give God $20 in the offering, then, that's your decision. But it just says give. And whatever you give, that same measure is going to be given unto you. It does not say, you have, the tenth like Malachi specified. But at any rate, whatever you decide to give, you need to pay attention when the word money is used in the Bible, when the word debt is used specifically. For example, Luke 16 says you cannot serve God and mammon, or God and money. King James says mammon. That word serve translates to slave. You cannot be a slave to both God and money. How are you a slave to money? If you have something financed at 10, 11, 12, 15, 18%, you got to get up and work that job, whether you feel like it or not, because you got to pay that interest rate on that bad debt. You get up when the job says go. You can't go to church because you got to work overtime because you're in bad debt. You can't go to church because you work on Sundays or you work the graveyard shift and you're running after money. That's being a slave to money. So God said, you know what? I want you to be that way with me. You're supposed to be running and pursuing me. Running, spending time with me, hearing from me, not this money. Not chasing the money, not chasing the dollar. So that's what 𝒞𝓋𝑒 says. You can't do both. Either you're going to be a slave to me or you're going to be a slave to money. Because one you're going to hate, the other you're going to love. And a lot of people have the love of money. They chase after, they pursue it. What rich people do is they position this money, this printed currency that does not have any value anyway, behind it to work for them. They position the money to work for them. And they get the real assets of the world. They use this paper printed money that's valueless, just printed on ink. And they get houses, they get land. And that's what Luke 16 is saying to children of the light. You need to understand how to do this. Right? And so then you got Ecclesiastes chapter 11 that states that money answers all things. It specifically used the word money. That word answers means explains. So Ecclesiastes is telling you money is going to explain everything. You want to know why a person is in bad health? Look at their grocery bills. Look at the foods they eat. Look at how much money they invest. Look if they have a gym membership. Look if they're investing in their health. Look at can they afford the better doctors or the best health care or the better vitamins. Look at what they're spending. Are they investing their money in their health? Money explains all things. If you want to know everything about a person, look at their credit report and trace the dollar. Trace where they spend their money. If they tell you they love God, look how much they give to the church financially. God said, wherever your treasures it, wherever your treasure is, your heart will be also. Money explains all things. If you want to know if this person using money wisely, then look at the interest rates on things they have financed. The Bible never said it was a sin to get anything financed. Because again, 2 Kings chapter 4, the story of the widow woman, she said she was in bad debt to start that chapter. She said, I'm in bad debt. My son's about to be sold to the slave owners. She said she was in bad debt. My husband just died. Later on, right, Elijah instructed her, okay, go and borrow. Debt was used in the word borrow. If borrowing was a sin, why did it help this lady build a business? Borrow is not a sin. It's what you do with this money. This money can create you assets. It can get you things that will pay you on a monthly basis. Or if you use it in a negative way, it can create you liabilities, things that take money out of your pocket. And you'll be paying people on a monthly basis. So you can either use your credit to get paid on a monthly basis residually and get assets, things that put money into your account, or you can use it to take money out of your account. Right? So, hey, I'm signing off. Hopefully, I won't be inspired to do any more thing on the biblical perspective this week, because I really want to get into the 2020 vision of doubling your credit and cash flow, in 2020. But if anything, Romans 13:8 says the Christian should not owe creditors. So that means you should not have low credit scores. Whatever you got to do legally and morally and biblically to pay off debts, you should do it. Right? Whether this in bankruptcies can be deleted, and I've deleted many off credit reports, charged off as well. But, whether you have to negotiate with those charged off creditors to pay half or settle with them, negotiate. Make a negotiation, set up a payment plan. When debt collectors come to you, ask for validation, because if they purchase the debt illegally and they don't have the proper paperwork, then legally you don't owe. So, learn the rules of the game. If you can't learn them, then get a coach or mentor like me that does. So I'm signing off. Hey, you all have a great, great Wednesday. Make it a Wealth Wednesday. Do something today to better your credit and your cash flow.